Hello everybody, welcome back to Dominions 5. We're continuing the tournament game where we're playing as LA Man. We're trying to wrap up our war against Satis and make sure that happens before Patala wins the game and we fail to come in before we fail to come in second. So, last turn, there was this random army of militia that Satis had put together, and I guess we anticipated that they were going to maybe attack Golfala, so we had patrolled. I forgot to highlight that, but we did patrol with 30 defenders, which is more than enough to take out militia, but we also had, a small communion to get our buffs up. Anyways, that went well. Agartha... yes. Let's talk. Well, let's wrap up these things. Random scout attacks, which are insignificant. We kill the mages. We kill this PD dump, whatever that was. What attack? Oh, Blightwoods. More Gaia crap. Yeah. So we're wrapping up Satis. There's nothing left here. We just need to siege this fort down. And then eventually we'll siege Satis down itself, but he has nothing left to speak of. So that war has concluded. Oh, we're also going to finally kick out these barbarians. They've been here for like 10 turns. Okay. So Patala, remember I mentioned that people were worried about Patala kind of running away with the game. So he's been eating up Agartha. And Agartha was preparing so we've been helping Agartha, trading gems or whatever he needed. And he had this big last stand planned, and then I think Patala just Dom killed him. So that kind of ended anticlimactically. The player who was playing Agartha was even suggested that he might give me his death basket, which I'm not that seems a little unfair. Anyways, it turned out not to be an issue because... So I had helped him. I'd been very cooperative with him throughout the game, so that it didn't come out of the blue. But still, he just died before he could do anything because he didn't think about his dominion. So Garth is dead now, and so what happens next is Patala's still going to siege down these forts, but then now Patala's pretty free to move on with the next part of his plan. Meanwhile, we're wrapping up Satis here. But we're still several turns from that because we got to siege this down, storm it, then we got to siege this down, storm it, and then we got to take this fort here. It's possible we might have to delay that and go for this throne, go for this throne first if, we're worried about the game ending soon. Meanwhile, what's going on with Tianqi, right? I'm noticing a distinct lack of Tianqi armies here. And that concerns me in the sense that I'm worried. We have a nap, obviously, with Tianqi. But what if Tianqi decides, now would be a good time? I'm tired of fighting Midgard. What if they decided to make peace, to bury the hatchet, and cooperate, and, let's say, fight me? So, for example, Tianqi would attack me here, and the deal for Midgard would be that he could get to take over Satis. No, I'm not saying that's a likely diplomatic outcome, but it could happen, right? So I'm kind of concerned about the recent lack of fighting between these two, so that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Yeah, that is basically all there is to this turn. Let's go through a lot of these turns now. That was turn 37, turn 38. Okay. We got some water gems. That was because... Okay, let's do a few of these things here. Oh, we killed the barbarians. Taking no casualties. God, I love those bows of war. They don't even make it to us. Fantastic. Okay. Midgard takes the province, as agreed. So Ulm is fighting Patala. Alright, let's give you guys an update then on that situation. So, I had mentioned that people were concerned about Patella. And so there seems to have been a diplomatic evolution where... So the idea was... I remember now, sorry. This is tricky to remember the exact sequence of diplomatic events. But when Patella was still eating Agartha, Atlantis and Ulm had started to fight a war. They were already fighting a war. But they agreed to a white peace to just decide, all right, you know, we're not going to have this war. The bigger threat is Patella, so we're going to attack Patella. But it seems... So Ulm has already started attacking Patella here. The irony was that big bump they had on the throne. I'm pretty sure that happened after they had decided they were going to cooperate against Patella. So they were like, hey, okay, let's cooperate against Patella. But then both of them were like, I want this throne. And then they kind of smashed their big armies into each other. So a bit of a comedy of errors going on there. Pretty bad start. Them both weakening their main stacks before fighting nominally the strongest player in the game. So anyways, we can see here he's got a random squad all the way on this side. I don't know how that happened, but sure. So Ulm is trying to take on Patella. You'll notice that Atlantis, as far as I can tell, does not appear to have committed his own troops. Atlantis still has a nap with Patella. And although he has said that he will join the Dogpile and fight Patella, so far he is not doing anything. I traded with Patella some gems. I needed some water gems because I have no water income. I had no way to search for water, but sometimes you get random sites. I didn't get so lucky. Because I need to forge some underwater breathing items to put on my dude to lead these shamblers underwater. So that is my plan going forward. Yeah, that is it. We're recruiting mages where we can. We're doing our research where we can. Let's go to the next turn. That was turn 38. Turn 39. Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, let's go through these battles here. Somehow there was an empoisoner. He kills one of my indie nature mages. Let's see. Patella. This was nothing. Some random barbarians. All right, nothing too special happening here. Importantly, Tianqi, so I had mentioned how it was weird that Tianqi and Midgard weren't fighting. No, they're definitely fighting. So Tianqi is back to sieging down Midgard. And last turn, I even traded air gems to Midgard. So I'm really low on air gems, but Midgard has been doing a fantastic job using those air gems to kill everybody. So I have no problem giving some air gems to Midgard to make air elementals to kill Tianqi's armies. That keeps my neighbors weak. Works for me. And this fort is almost siege down. We don't have as much siege strength here, partly because we just don't have a lot of units. And also, I don't have, like, I've only got maybe 6 of these guys. So our total siege strength here is 230, which is not bad. Like, these forts are 500, but he does have an army inside. So that's why it's taking 3 or 4 turns. I thought it was more important to keep these guys at home researching rather than hurry on to siege this fort. Be a lot of lost researching time. I've decided to be proactive and to start to try and clear out these knights to start sieging down Cetis itself. This was turn 39. Yeah, that is pretty much it. In terms of my research priorities, you'll notice I switched things up a little bit. So, you know, what am I going to face next? Well, I'm going to face this throne. This throne has a lot of fire stuff, and I need to have some kind of fire resistance before I'm going to fight this, is how I feel about it. So I'm going to make an effort to go to Enchantment 8. Alteration 7 has given me mass protection, but that's going to give me fire vulnerability. Vulnerability, and I probably don't want to put that to get that up to fight this battle. However, Fog Warriors will be much appreciated. earlier I had thought, oh, I'll go to Conjuration 7. That was for a few things. Conjuration 7 is good to spam out little air elementals. It's also important because it will get me good nature mages. So I am planning to use Ivy Kings, which are Nature 3 mages, and then with a Thistle Mace, and if you want, you can put a Cornucopia for temporary gem gen items, but they can basically be your mass regen casters. Right now, my only source of Nature mages are these N1s, and so I have to communion them up. It's a bit of a pain. But I have built-in nature income just from my capital, so the idea is to use that built-up nature income, and my pretender has high enough nature paths to summon a couple of these guys, and they can do my mass, my mass regeneration. But the truth is, I don't really need that until I actually have the mass regeneration spell. So we're gonna focus on getting that first. That will also open up some potential Earth Globals for us in enchantment. There have not been any Globals cast so far. So that is, we seem to have a lot of Earth income for some random reason. Now we don't have great Earth paths, we don't have any much really on our pretender, but with some boosters, with a bit of work, we could maybe climb up that ladder. All right, let's go through the next turns here. That was turn 39, turn 40. Speaking of globals, Atlantis has put up Maelstrom. Okay, we have our battle in Satis. This is us taking on the Demon Knights. Unfortunately, Demon Knights are really good. I had kind of underestimated how nasty they are. In particular, they're nasty because they have fear, and they have fire resistance, and I'm like, oh yeah, flaming arrows. Oh wait, no, I don't have flaming arrows here. Alright, so whatever, still. They're really nasty. They have very high protection. They're super killy, and the fear just like insta routes like 2-3 squads. They're just murdering my dudes. Yeah, just like awful. You know, my evocations kill a bunch of them, but they rout my entire army. So that was really bad. Really bad move on my part. I mean, I killed most of them. So much so that I killed all their leaders, so now I can just move on next turn. But that was a waste of troops and mages. Like, this is just another mistake on my part. I really underestimated how strong these guys were. So, my bad. Tianchi is doing a great job gem baiting here. So, wastes another 20, if not 25 air gems. Is fighting Patala, but we don't see much. And Foul, we got some, not good province. Oh, some random thing happens. Okay, actually, yes, let's talk about that. So, okay, we're finally going to storm this castle. All my random dudes who ran away from that terrible fight are now going to re-congregate on top of Satis. I don't think there's anything much left in terms of Satis's army inside, so we're just going to clear out the dudes on top and start camping that fort and start sieging it down. Finally, we're ready to go underwater here with about 60 Shamblers. And we had a random event which gave us a bunch of Nature 2 mages, which is fantastic news. This means with a Nature 2 mage, you can put a Thistle Mace, my Pretender can forge a Moonvine Bracelet, so that can get them up to Nature 4, then maybe give them Cornucopia. They'll be able to just sit there and cast Mass Regen in every fight. And we got 3 of them, so we're pretty much okay for Nature Mages now. Unfortunately, they're trapped inside this fort because we got a random bad event, so we gotta... Man, Misfortune, this game is really living up to... Really living up to its name. So that is basically what's going on. Now, meanwhile, we are starting to suspect. We don't know what's going on with Atlantis here. Atlantis was supposed to, or said, that they were going to collaborate with Ulm to attack Batala. Myself and Tianqi have signaled that we're, willing to go and fight Batala, but we still have to wrap up our own wars here. Like, I still have to siege this down, and similarly, Tianqi still has to finish Midgard off. So we're not really ready to go fight Batala, but that's what we've sort of indicated. Now, to be honest, I'm not super... I mean, I could go after Batala. It's a logical thing to do, but I would really prefer to go after this throne before I move against Batala. But that could be a thing. What I don't want to do is I don't want to go 1v1 against Batala. So if Atlantis and Ulm are fighting on this side, sure, I'll go and I'll grab, like, I have easy access to these two thrones. That's a totally logical and legitimate path for me to pursue. Excuse me. But what I'm concerned about is Atlantis. So Atlantis is not attacking Batala. So who are they waiting to attack? Atlantis has been building up troops in these forts for the last, a lot of turns. And so what I'm worried about is that Atlantis is going to attack me. And currently all of my forces are kind of spread out on this side. So that would put a lot of pressure on my capital pretty fast. If Atlantis attacked me, then Batala could also attack me. And Batala has easier access to these two thrones. I couldn't stand against both of them together. Then Batala takes one of these thrones, assuming they win against Ulm and take this throne. Batala then wins the game with 5 thrones, and Atlantis has these 2 thrones and comes in second place. So that's the outcome that I'm worried about. So I'm starting to be like, oh shit, I kind of need troops here. So we're going to start recruiting and reinforcing this border. Is the plan for the next few turns. So that is turn 40. Let's see if we can get a few more turns in here. Turn 41. Ulm is fighting. We take the underwater province. Here is Tianqi fighting Midgard, the big one. Apparently Midgard got this hero. I didn't even notice. That's pretty cute. This Wrath of the Ancestors, this is a national spell from Tianqi. It gives you a bunch of size 1 sacred ancestral spirits. They have 1 hit point. They're ethereal. Recall that his bless... let's see what his bless is. There's the bless. Recall that his bless is shock weapons and twist fate, which kind of works pretty well with these guys. It means their 1 attack does have shock weapons, but also they take 2 hits to kill instead of just 1. This is the same thing you saw before. A whole bunch of air elementals. Now there's also, that looks like an earthquake. So that is Midgard that cast earthquake. Now, TC here has summoned a ton of... Not summoned, has recruited a ton of archers. And honestly, I'm not sure what the... So, one thing that you can do with archers can fight air elementals, because they're ethereal, if they have flaming weapons. But these archers don't. So I'm not sure why. I guess the timing might be off. Anyways, this swarm of little undead ghosts is in fact effective. In theory, at fighting these air elementals, it certainly trapped them, but the shock weapons actually aren't going to work. So actually, Tianqi brought a big army here, but I'm still not really seeing an effective counter to air elemental spam. Now, he won the battle. He was able to swarm him and overwhelm him. But mainly that was because there weren't any Einherjars left. There wasn't a front line left, right? So the air elementals just had to, you know, kind of defend this attack rear maneuver, but they couldn't because there was too much cavalry. Anyways, Tianchi wins, finally wipes out the Midgard army, but takes huge casualties, and so that kind of is fine by me. Takes a lot of casualties once again, but now Midgard's days are numbered. We stormed the fort here. There was a little bit inside, but not too much. Yeah, just a bit of bad chaff. A mage. We've got bows of war. Just wrecks these guys. So we take a few casualties. Probably most of it was friendly fire. Okay, now this army is ready to move on to Satis. We're going to slowly work on sieging down Satis. Our underwater squad is going to head back over here to try to take these two lakes. And we are reinforcing these two forts as best we can from our every turn. Our reinforcements here are going up this way, and then we're recruiting as many troops as we can. Meanwhile, we're waiting to see how this Patala versus Ulm thing is unfolding, and we're still not sure what's going on with Atlantis. Research-wise, we're at about 1,400 research per turn, which is okay considering we have a pretty active war going on. So a lot of our mages are moving around and not researching. We'll have Enchantment 7 done soon, and then on to Enchantment 8. So I think that's a good time to end the episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.